thing that I've ever fucked before.
Brandon, your hand is back on the fan. We have 9 chances for you to win $1,000 every weekday, every hour from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Enter the keywords and learn more at KFAN.com.
This guy will never score.
Oh, Marty.
Hi, Marnes. Good morning.
Is it? Marty, it's good morning. We woke up, didn't ya?
Yeah, and your Wolves won. They beat a terrible team. You're pumped, right? Who cares about the football team? Your basketball team won. Yeah, and you're pretty.
You're so pretty.
Oh, my God. That guy needs a nap.
Boy, this guy's a creepy perv.
I'm not.
Does anyone know where I can get a giant jug of Sunny D?
Yeah, Zach brought in a bunch of Sunny D.
Right here.
Sunny D.
Yeah, he likes that Sunny D, man.
64-ounce Tangy Original.
Whoa,
Yeah, he loves it.
Whoa. I've never liked a Sunny D.
I haven't either.
In case you guys are keeping score.
Tastes like egg yolk.
I don't know about that, brother.
Interesting.
Why you drink egg
I
yolk?
can't drink it.
I crushed it in the 90s, the decade at the nightclub.
Was that somebody?
Everybody drank Sunny D.
I never liked it.
It was Ecto Coolers into Sunny D. That was the evolution of the 90s kid.
Sunny D.
What about Tang? Did you guys ever partake in
As
Tang?
much as I can.
Sauce hasn't tried it yet. Paul, your hands up.
The Sunny D and rum lady, Woodhawk.
Yeah, she's a viral sensation.
She's a singer,
Yeah, he likes artists.
and she's pretty.
Okay.
La, la. Did you guys want me to do news before I go home?
Yes, please.
Hi, Marnie.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm great. You know what?
He's got a loaded gun. Back up.
What are you
Have
talking
you
about?
changed clothes?
Not even close.
Yeah.
Nope. No, these undies aren't. They're twice baked.
I just meant the shirt, but, thank you for the details. That is nice.
Yeah.
Hey, so I heard PA last night say it right before the game started. He thought it was almost 50-50 in terms of Vikings fans versus Rams fans. Is that close?
I'd say it's more Vikings fans.
Oh, more Vikings
Yeah, I would
fans.
say, yeah.
I mean, the Rams had to call a timeout on one of their third downs because it was so loud.
Yeah, it would have been way louder than that if things had gone better. There were a couple of times when the game was still a little bit in doubt that I was like, wow, there are a lot of Vikings fans here. They had the skull chant going a couple of times.
What was the overall mood like on the buses and the plane once you get everything gathered up and reality hits and you're on your way home?
You know this well, Marnes, because you've been on road trips with teams that were done for the season.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing how quickly it ends, right? I mean, from the time we got on the plane to go to Cleveland to last night, you feel like you're running all the time.
Yeah.
And then you realize tomorrow there's nothing to do. Like, right? And it's obviously way more like that for the people actually doing the job full time. But like that team as it existed last night will never exist ever again. It's just a weird thing. 100 miles an hour to a stop sign.
And you don't know when the stop sign is coming.
Right,
That's a big part of it because you can't mentally go, we got to savor this. We only have 3 weeks left. We only have 2 weeks left.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And then it's done.
Thanks for the memories, man. Right? But overall, people were pretty disappointed, as you can imagine. Pretty disappointed.
Yeah, there's disappointment. There's some shock to it. There's sadness to it. There's anger to it.
Yeah.
That's why I was wondering what it was like because as fans, we went through all of that.
Yeah.
And now you're waking up in, I don't know, in reality.
Yeah. The locker room was, there was a whole lot of a celebration for the season that was for the overcoming everything that was overcome, for exceeding expectations. I think Coach is really, really good at looking on the bright side, especially when it's not going to do you any good to look on the dark side. What's he going to do after the game last night? Criticize people that know how poorly they played. The season's over. You're not going to coach them into being better next week. There is no next week. So there was a whole lot of slapping each other on the back and hugging each other and thanking each other for the hard work. That's kind of what the mood was last night. You know what was also cool? I'm glad you asked before I left because I still have a little bit of brain power left. Props over and over and over to the Arizona staff, the team, the stadium people, the city of Phoenix and whatever city I was in last night, for pulling out all the stops to accommodate a division rival, two completely foreign fandoms to come in, two teams, the stadium staff, everybody who thought they were done for the season, the security personnel, the PR staffs for the Arizona Cardinals, the announcers for everybody came out, and you would have thought you were in LA. You would have closed your eyes and thought you were in LA. It was really heartening to see people come out for a city in distress.
I love that you said that, and I think when you don't have any faith left in humanity, you can look at something as small as that and just say, when we feel helpless and we don't think we can help, like the wildfires, it's an overwhelming situation. But if you work at the football stadium in Glendale, you might have been able to help in that way. And there are people who took great pride and joy in being able to help some people who needed a hand at that time.
I've never seen, in all my years of doing this, a more accommodating stadium staff to make sure you knew where, because everybody there last night, both teams had no idea where we were going. You know, the road team obviously always is a little confused. Neither of us knew exactly, because the Rams are used to going to the visiting locker room.
Absolutely.
You know, just really well done. The entire city. I mean, there were billboards. There were LAFD hats everywhere. You know, it was really something to see. It's really something to see. Yeah, well said, Marnes. It was good to see people care about each other still.
And there are times you have to be reminded there are more important things than football.
Yeah.
And to pull it all together as quickly as they did.
Oof.
I mean, this wasn't something they had weeks to plan. This is something they had days to turn around and pull it all off.
Yeah. And how about, by the way, help me out, guys. What's the Rams coach's name? I'm sorry. McVay had to, he and his family had to vacate their home. This isn't something they weren't dealing with on a personal level either, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was the variable we talked about yesterday with Muss. The variable of you don't know until the game's over whether the team is going to rally around the tragedy and the situation or if it's going to distract them. Since they won, and they won dominantly, you see Matthew Stafford and others saying, we weren't playing just for us. We were playing for California. Okay, it still could have been that if you lost by 20, but you won by, whatever it was, 18 or 19 points. Was it 27-9?
27-9, yeah.
Yeah, so they looked focused. They didn't look distracted. They didn't look like they were playing with their heads stuck in California, right? They looked like they were absolutely crystal clear and motivated, but it could have gone the other way. Because like you just said, if you have family members that are evacuating or homes are burned down, they're in a, hotel or friend's house, or they went 3 cities away. Who knows? I'm sure there's a lot of stress there, but it didn't seem to affect the Rams last night at all.
Yeah, I believe the Phoenix ownership group sent 2 planes to pick up family members for Los Angeles Rams players.
Yeah, the TV broadcast did a good job of breaking down all the stuff that the Cardinals donated or went out of their way to do to make sure everything went well. Yeah. Like you said, division rivals, but I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if it was the opposite? We're not doing that for them. Those are division rivals.
Yeah,
Never.
The Eagles wouldn't have done that.
No.
All right.
The Eagles would have sent 2 planes with the C word painted on the plane and then just circled the airport and flown back to Philadelphia.
You're right.
It would have been the plane from Major League.
Yeah.
They flown them to a different city.
Dragging a banner along behind it that said the C word. You're right.
Jeez.
Anyway, the news. Here we go.
This is KFAN News with Chris Hockey.
Brought to you by our friends at Carboni's. That sounds delicious. Yes. Here's the news. Today is the day. Today's the day to ditch that New Year's diet.
Today is National Hot Pastrami Sandwich Day. Go easy. One sandwich can have about 673 calories.
That's a good
But
start.
it could be worth it. Pastrami was brought to New York in 1887 by a Russian immigrant named Sussman Volk.
I know
He
that
served
dude.
up sandwiches from his Lower East Side deli in New York called Katz's, which is still there. So maybe just for today, ditch the diet and go for the rye bread, mustard, and piles of pastrami. You can be good tomorw. I'm Bree Tennis.
So she said something like 670 calories, right?
Yeah.
Then that means on New Year's, Tommy could have had over 16 of those.
My God.
It's true.
Think of that.
Yeah.
Katz's Deli is also where the famous scene in When Harry Met Sally happened.
Yep.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot.
pretty cool.
There's a lot of films that have been filmed in there.
Katz's Deli is great.
When Debbie
Yeah, great.
does a deli.
Yeah, Debbie does a deli. Yeah. She likes the hard salami.
Okay, that's too far. That's too far.
You don't know where the line is.
You don't have any idea where the line is.
No, she actually does.
No,
No,
she
she
She likes
doesn't.
hard salami.
No, you're trying to
Actually?
get, you're doing a play on words.
Yep. Thank you, Marns.
I can confidently say I have never had a pastrami sandwich.
So good.
Are you kidding me?
So good.
Yes. I'm not kidding you. It is true. Because, I mean, is pastrami a form of salami meat?
It's like corned beef.
It's corned beef.
Okay.
It's a leaf.
It's a version of corned beef.
Well,
kind of.
I have had like a corned beef hash, maybe like tried
Yeah.
if my kid got it or
ever
Matt
had a
got it. But
Reuben?
You've had a Reuben, haven't you?
I have had a Reuben.
Yeah,
Well, then you've had,
that's-
I mean, 50-50
never-
chance it was pastrami.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
God.
Well, I've never ordered it as a pastrami sandwich. Like, I don't even think that's on the menu of anywhere other than maybe
A deli.
Dizzy's Deli that you were just talking about.
A good sandwich
Okay, so-
is elite.
So a Reuben is the equivalent of a pastrami sandwich. If so, I've had it. I actually love Reubens.
Yeah, Reubens are either corned beef or pastrami. Yep.
Man, I'd slam
Different
one of
label.
those.
Oh, Cleveland has
He's talking about something else.
Cleveland has a great
The guy from that cartoon
deli
movie?
as well.
Do you mean show?
Sorry.
Family Guy?
Cleveland Brown?
Family Guy, that iconic cartoon movie.
Cleveland Brown, is that his last name? Yeah. Is it really? It's even better.
Oh boy, my dad's texting me about Darnold.
Already?
Oh yeah.
What'd he say?
He said, if the Vikings really like McCarthy as much as everybody says, I would not be crushed if they let Darnold go.
And how are hot nuts?
Oh yeah. Oh, he's not.
Cinnamon roasted
There's no
almonds.
way he's listening. He's just texting to check in. He wants the Vikings scuttlebutt.
Yeah.
Can't blame him.
Don't blame him a bit.
Yeah.
Well, this is for Big Lou. State lawmakers are planning to introduce a bill this week that would decriminalize sex work in Illinois.
That's where he's from. He's pissed.
I know. He's like, why'd that move?
Why did I move almost 70 years ago?
You've been waiting.
Yeah, that's true. Almost 70 years ago.
they decriminalize the whores.
Wow. Yep.
That was
That's why we kept them around.
an actual
Wonderful
soundbite.
segment.
I just played the sound bites.
You don't sound anything like your dad.
The measure would remove criminal penalties for adults engaging in consensual work of a sexual nature, remove arrest and conviction records for sex workers, and establish a sex workers' bill of rights. Advocates believe that these policies would offer those workers the ability to better vet clients and meet with them in safer places. If approved, Illinois would become the first state that I moved to. And
Sauce, what do you believe their Bill of Rights should look like? What are some of these rights that these workers should fight for?
Sex workers?
Sure.
They should be treated fairly. They should make a decent wage. They should pay taxes like the rest of us. And they should be able to tell Hawk no after the 6th time in 7 days.
I like they should make a decent wage
Well, they should.
for the hard work.
Yeah.
he's right.
For the hard salami.
He's right.
Does this have a realistic chance of passing? Do they say in this, or is it just a bill that's been introduced?
If approved, it doesn't say.
All right.
Doesn't say.
Let's make another bet, Chris. You and I bet on what state Minnesota falls into in terms of the number of states that approve prostitution before Minnesota. Because I'm going to guess we're going to be 50th.
I bet Utah's after us.
I don't know. We're late to the party on sports betting.
Man.
What if Utah and like Maine
What
beat
happened
us
to-
on prostitution?
Where are the weed stores we were promised? How are we so far behind in that?
Who promised you a
stuff
weed
on
store?
that too, by the way.
What is it?
Early 2026 now, maybe.
Oh, boy.
What? Yeah. The
Damn it.
I mean, institutional failure.
Total system failure.
I just wanna,
Everyone is
They
to
passed
blame.
it 2 years
Everyone
ago.
is to blame.
right. I just want to buy that sweet Kush.
Right, that's sticky icky.
Go to
Yeah.
Illinois.
No. Weed. He's on Expedia right now.
Oh, he said Kush.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought he was talking with the lisp again. I'm going to go to bed before I get fired. Okay? I'm going to book a flight to Illinois.
There was a time where you said you were going to spend Christmas in Amsterdam.
I still might.
That's the new Hallmark movie.
Yep.
Yep.
They're going pretty dark now.
Chris in
All dark.
Amsterdam.
Yep.
All right, we'll do sports when we come back. Sauce, you can lead that.
Yeah, man.
You can say what happened yesterday.
It's good to see your pretty face, Boney.
Love you. Hawk.
Love you, buddy.
Yep.
Thanks for being here, Hawk. You add a lot of life.
Good. I'm trying. I just want to make people happy if I can. Bye, baby.
Who's that aimed at?
Sauce.
Bye, Daddy.
If you ask my lawyer, it was named at Sauce.
And because you keep saying you're pretty every time Marnie shows up, you just said it's good to see your pretty face, Boney. Marnie's new nickname is Boney? No, that's John Bonus, who's back after a long, long time on the other side of the planet. But can you stick around for one more, John, or not?
Sure, why not?
All right, one
Sauce,
more
come
with
over and
Johnny
smell my
Bones.
armpits. Ugh.
Ick.
Gross.
Don't miss out on the Power Trip Morning Show when they take over Treasure Island on February 6th and 7th. Be there for tons of games, laughs, and great prizes, including Vegas trips to watch the big game. Book your stay using promo code KFAN for both the 6th and the 7th to save 15%. To get the full details and book your stay today, head over to KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
Yeah, and now you don't have to sweat
No.
that the purple is or is not in that game. They're not. Right, so now you can just go to Vegas and have fun. Yeah, pack your bags because those trips are immediately right after the shows,
Yes.
essentially. Because the shows are on the 6th and the 7th, and I believe the people that win leave on the 8th.
Yeah.
Wow.
So be ready to go.
Sweet.
I like
Gotta be
that new
super
thing
fun.
we're doing. Like we're just giving away prizes, like big prizes that are like the what do you call it? The Black Friday show, where they get to go to both the Wild and the Wolves
Right.
game that day.
Right.
Which
We should keep doing that.
I saw that guy. He came and said hello at the Wolves game, which was the second of the two, and he had brought his son.
Did he say thank you?
Yes.
Because you won those.
He was,
for
I
him.
mean, he was very grateful and excited and a little bit drunk.
All you do is win on Black Friday.
Just another Friday night for you, Mark. Right? Yeah.
I was like, I see you, brother.
All right, Sauce. The Vikings blew it. They're out, but there's sports going on.
It's time for Fan 5 on the Power Trip, presented by All Around, your TimberTech deck building contractor.
The Minnesota Timberwolves beat the Wizards 120-106 and had 41. For a while, it looked like they were going to lose to the worst team of all time, but your Wolves, Marnes, have won 4 of 5, and they battle the Warriors tomorrow at Target Center at 8:30 p.m.
Yes, that game time got moved a couple of days ago because ESPN picked it up. We are still doing the game on FanDuel Sports, but sometimes ESPN picks it up additionally, and therefore the game time change. The Warriors lost last night to Toronto, one of the worst teams in the league. Lost by 3 in Toronto. So last night, Wolves, basically what happens is when you play these teams that are struggling, a lot of times you kind of play down to that level and you know what's coming and it's going to be sloppy, and then you turn it on in the end. And Ant had 20 points in the fourth quarter of his 41. He also had 7 turnovers. So it was one of those games where you're just like, oh, just get through this. We get through this. You got to get a W. Washington has 6 wins. 6 and 32 now. There was a span from, they started out the season 2-2. And then after a month, they were 2-18. They lost 16 straight games from early November to early December. Now that is a tough team to be a fan of. Can you imagine?
That is bleak.
I think I said it yesterday. I legitimately think they're the worst franchise in all of the core 4 of all American team sports.
Overall, you don't mean this year. You mean
just overall. Yes. In
you
recent
don't think
memory.
of a lot of great shining moments for the Washington Wizards.
Other teams at least have ups and downs. The Wizards have been cheeks for my entire life.
Double.
And
Double cheeks.
Their football team just won a playoff game for the first time since, what was the set, 06?
Yeah.
Right. So if you are a Washington, D.C. specific fan, I know they got a lot of teams in that little area, but if that's your team, the Commanders, the Wizards, how are the Capitals at hockey? They all right?
They're getting better again. They had a really, really good start to the season. Then I think they did a slight dip when Ovi was hurt, but they're doing very, very well. And they just won a cup.
The Capitals are tied for the most points in the NHL with 61.
Well, then they're making up for it. Everybody's a Caps fan.
They lead the NHL.
The Knights, the Caps, and the Jets all have 61 points. The fourth best team in the NHL is the Minnesota Wild.
Yeah. With still up there.
58 points.
That'll end great. Speaking of the Wild, Sacco, if they battle the Oilers tomorrow at 7:30 at the X, the Wild are 27-13-4.
Well, they have one more point than the Oilers, so the Oilers are probably the 5th best team in the NHL.
Nailed it.
But yeah, the Oilers, they speak for themselves. They're a very good offensive team, but the Wild are getting healthy. They're going to get better, and I think we got a good shot at a good run this year.
A good shot at a good run.
Now shut up.
I'm sorry. Did I talk too much about it?
No. Boney, you've been gone for a while. Yeah. The Minnesota Twins, a story came out that they are possibly looking to have new ownership by opening day.
Yeah, I mean, it's heartening that this is moving along quickly. As to how long, what that really means in terms of interest, we'll see. We knew that the Ishbia brothers were definitely potential buyers. The story suggested that there might be other interested teams as well. But, that story was from a league source that was briefed by the Twins. Well, the Twins are absolutely going to try and try to portray things as having lots of teams with interest, right?
Of course.
And, if you are, a fan of the theory that they are doing this in part because they need cash, they are probably motivated sellers. They probably want to get it wrapped up as soon as they can. So, yeah, I could be that opening day. We've got an entirely different look at this franchise moving forward. We've got Twins Fest next week. Got the Diamond Awards on Thursday nights. You've got Twins Daily's doing our Winter Meltdown on Saturday night. Next week will be, baseball in Minnesota week now that we don't have any football to watch. So, that and then spring training coming up in 29 days.
This is great.
But we'll see if they actually make any moves this offseason. I don't. The best possible move they could make is selling this team, obviously, for long term. But I don't know that we're going to see a lot change in this for this team short term.
Hey, John.
Yes, sir.
Quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
I saw the Brewers, after they did the same thing with the Twins and announcing that they're going to just stream their own games next year, be Brewers.tv. They went back to FanDuel Sports Network. Any idea if the Twins are considering a similar deal?
I mean, listen, when you've got an ownership change, I suppose anything's in play.
Sure.
Right.
But as of right now, we're going to have to stream the games, basically.
No, I mean, I think what we are expecting is that if you have a cable package, the Twins game will be on one of the Comcast channels. They will basically have a Twins channel that you will end up, being part of your basic cable package for, 4 hours a night during the season. I think that's sort of the expectation. That's at least what we've seen in other markets that have chosen this direction. I don't know that we've got any announcements on that, but again, that's the sort of thing that they would generally announce at Twins Fest next week. So stay tuned.
Can't wait.
I'm excited to have them back on TV.
Same.
So,
the NFL playoffs will go on. They will not include our Minnesota Vikings. The Chiefs will host the Texans. Of course, the Chiefs get the first game, so they get an extra day off. The whole league wants them to win. I'm tired of them. Then the Lions host the Commanders. The Lions are 9.5-point favorites. And then the Eagles host the Rams on Sunday at 2:00.
Do we have a spread yet on the Eagles-Rams?
6.
For Eagles?
Yeah.
I'll take the Rams.
I'll take the Eagles.
Okay.
$50?
Sure.
Sweet.
Wow.
Corey gave up gambling.
For Lent.
You okay?
For Lent. It's not yet Lent.
In his always.
It's always
Every
Lent
day
in
is
my
Lent
house.
for Corey.
He does 80 days.
And then the Bills will host the Ravens in the last game of the divisional round at 5:30 on Sunday. Baltimore is now a 1-point favorite.
You're kidding me.
He should be. They smoked him earlier in the season.
Man, that'll be a great game. So good.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
The winner of that is going to go to the Super Bowl.
I'll take Buffalo.
Possibly.
If they want to throw.
Cor?
No, I gave up gambling. Gambling ruins families.
What's the line for Buffalo?
Baltimore is a 1-point favorite.
I'll just do straight up. Straight up win. You don't have to give me the point.
Thanks, Paula Abdul.
You have to give me the push on the point.
I like the Bills.
I do too.
I'll take the Ravens straight up $50.
Sure.
Yeah, I like to gamble.
Wow.
What? Nobody else is gambling. Somebody has to do it.
Yeah.
Hogs left. He would do it.
If you want to be wrong, that's fine.
That's fine. But at least one of us is gambling.
Did we find out where hockey's Uber took him in the greater Phoenix area?
It took him right past the major casino there on that
He didn't
stretch.
go, though.
He was in a driverless car. He had no choice.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was against his will.
Okay.
He was shouting. He was yelling.
Yeah, stop. I can't go there.
Don't get too close.
I can't go there.
And then the driverless car pulled out a gun and said, "You better put some money in those slot machines or I'm
Yep.
going to shoot you."
Yep.
He said, go hit
So he
that
did.
Buffalo.
So he did.
Yep.
Buffalo.
Anything
God,
else?
I love slot
That's
machines.
all I got.
That's Marge. Just a couple of weeks till TI.
I know. I'll be there on the, I'm doing the Thursday show with you guys and the Friday morning, and I've plotted some time for
I figured.
some machines.
I figured.
Some what?
Sheens.
Machines.
The only work trip where her net worth goes down every year.
They see me coming.
Yeah.
Vikings news when we come back. They lost to the Rams last night, 27-9. We can break it down. We can talk the future of Sam Darnold. What do we do? Lots to discuss. Johnny Bones, got to go or
It
what?
has been so much fun.
Good to see you, dude.
Yeah, I'm going to go get some sleep.
Let's talk trip next week.
Okay, yeah, that's
The
fine.
Vikings gloom isn't hovering over the entire Twin Cities area.
All about it.
All right, sweet. There's Johnny Bonus. Marney Gellner is here. Vikings news after this. This is the Power Trip Morning Show on The Fan.
The Fan.
Let's bitch about stuff.
Time for Vikings news on the Power Trip. Presented by
Redco, your truck accessories pro.
Yeah, Marnie and I were just talking off the air about how weird that end of the third quarter and most of the fourth quarter was. How it just seemed like they just put it in neutral and said, this game's over.
We didn't really try.
I don't understand it. I don't quite get it. I know your offensive line is now shattered because Brian O'Neill, right, had the concussion or probably a concussion and left.
Yeah.
And I know Darnold was seeing ghosts all game, so it looked like he probably wasn't going to figure it out in the final quarter, down 3 scores. But, I mean, you went for 2 to try to make it a 2-score game. You're still playing the math game, right? Like, what do we got to do to get back in this thing? But then they just handed it off to Akers and handed it off to Aaron Jones.
Right.
There was no urgency. It looked like this is a preseason game. Let's just run out the clock. We don't want to have any of our stars hurt. This is the fourth quarter of a playoff game.
Yeah.
It is when you're down 21 points in any game. Mathematically, you're almost done, right?
Yep.
My guess is the percent chance you come back in a 21-point football deficit is what, 2%?
Yeah, probably.
Maybe 1%. I mean, it's a long shot. This is the playoffs,
Right.
right? You got to go for it, man. They seem very contented to say the season's over.
They
We
quit.
know it's over.
They
It's
were
that
punting when
simple.
they were down multiple scores.
They quit. When you look at that game and you say, all right, when TJ Hawkinson scored that touchdown and the 2-point conversion call was basically they just meat sauced it, you say to yourself, you go, if they can score one more time in this quarter, then maybe we have something here. I know they'd be down 10 if they got the 2-point conversion. But then just a lollygag when you should be running as many plays as you can in the third quarter.
How about, and I know this is Darnold, and Darnold, again, did not look good last night, and they were giving up 1 billion sacks. They gave up 9. How about the third quarter on? The run shouldn't even be an option.
No.
Pass the rest of the game.
No, put C.J. Ham in to block because he's excellent at that, and just shotgun, throw it. Just throw it as much as you can. And they didn't. Why even run the ball? I mean, you're going for it on 4th down, and it was just they just quit.
It was bizarre.
How much stock do you put into what I had read a few different people put out there on Twitter that was that late third into fourth quarter was the head coach realizing he cannot get anything out of his quarterback in the passing game. And so it is a waving of the white flag because he doesn't want any more, whether it's interceptions or just the score running up, like that is, he has zero faith in the quarterback.
I think when you have that situation, you then have to go to Mullins. I think when the game is, as Corey said, it's a 1 or 2% chance, right? But it's a playoff game. This is a regular season game, and you're going, man, this is over. We don't want to get anybody hurt. It's week 2, right? We got 15, 16 games left to play in the regular season, right? But then you go to Mullins.
You can't go to Mullins.
But
with
why?
1 quarter to go, you can't.
But why? If you're not going to let Darnold even try, what does it matter who you put out there?
I think it's KOC knowing that Darnold doesn't have it, and the offensive line is letting everybody through like a sieve. But I still don't understand why you don't let Sam sling it. Because it's not like Sam's reputation is going to get damaged more if he throws a pick or two.
Right.
He's had 2 terrible games that were both essentially playoff games, Detroit and then last night. So if he just cost himself a bunch of money on the free agent market, I don't think that fourth quarter, if he had thrown a pick or two, I don't think that would have been worse.
No.
Right? The damage is already done.
If you turn
just let him sling it for 1 more.
If you turn that game on with the 20 seconds left in the third quarter and you didn't know the score, you would think the Vikings had a unbelievably
40-point
huge lead. Because they just looked like they were in cruise control. Like, we're going to win. We don't want to get anybody hurt. We got to prepare for Philly. It was the exact opposite. They just got punched in the mouth. The non-fumble play killed all their momentum, and they never recovered from that. And that's what we saw last night. It's just, this coaching staff is elite, but they couldn't rally the troops when they got punched in the mouth. They couldn't get back up off the mat, and it was just a full-on disaster from that point.
I did think, as a Vikings fan, it was embarrassing to hear Joe Buck say with like 6.5 minutes left.
Yeah.
The Vikings know they're down 18, right?
Yeah. Well, he loves Dwighting on the Vikings.
He Dwighted on them.
But
they deserved it though.
They do. They did.
I think I remember exactly what you're talking about, Marnes. But that drive when it was just hand the ball off, get back to the line pretty slowly.
Yes.
You're like, what are they doing?
Urgency.
Right. No
and then
urgency.
they hand it off again. You're like, why are we running out the clock?
Right.
I mean,
I think
it just doesn't make any sense.
I think it was pretty clear they're preparing for, as we learned earlier, the 2025 season,
which will take place.
I mean, that was probably your first indication that they were going to be playing next year, that they were resting
starters. Yeah, didn't want to get hurt.
Man. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Was that season in jeopardy of not being played?
No. I did not read Jordan Addison's dad on Twitter. Did he have a rant?
No idea.
Because Jordan had a pretty quiet game. They threw it to him a million times, but only, three catches, I think?
Banged up at the end.
Yeah, that was a rough fall. That looked like it could have been worse.
It's amazing how many of those like rollover jump dives that these receivers do that they don't break more neck stuff.
Yeah,
stuff.
Break more neck stuff.
I don't see any tweets from old Rolando.
Oh, good.
He held his thumbs.
Brilliant.
Sam Darnold in a post-game press conference said, quote, I clearly just didn't play good enough the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't think we're ever going to know what his market was 2 weeks ago and what he's going to get now, what the difference is, because whatever he gets now, it's going to be hard to have somebody truly say, well, we would have paid him, $7 million more a year if he would have just played better.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I think
all the fears are sneaking in. If you're a what team's going to give him a 4 or 5 year deal now with 100 or 120 million guaranteed?
I think the thing that he does have going for him, as Jeremy Fowler pointed out on Twitter about a half hour ago, he still will be the top free agent quarterback, and this is a very mediocre quarterback draft. So, whatever that means, but
who's going to pull the trigger on him now?
Indy maybe teams that are will be in the kind of the middle of the pack and won't have a chance to get Shador or Cam.
Yeah.
I could see maybe Indy doing it. I mean, maybe New York, depending on Aaron Rodgers. Maybe.
So, could I see that?
Oh, that's today. I'm going to send you that.
Oh, great. So, but what if you're a GM of one of those teams and, GMs and coaches almost always in the NFL lose their jobs or keep their jobs based on the decision they make about the quarterback. Are you going to stake your maybe one shot at being a GM by locking up Sam Darnold to a 3 or 4 year deal with a whole bunch of guaranteed money?
I mean, that's a really good. I think it's a 1 year deal. I think he's on another 1 year, maybe 20. Maybe he gets a $10 million raise.
Is Sam going to accept a 1 year deal? I doubt it.
I mean,
might not have a choice.
He might be the only one.
Yeah, he might have played himself out of that bargaining power.
I mean, you look around the league, and I know there's about 12 very good quarterbacks. This is a league full of bad quarterbacks.
For sure.
He'll get, New
Orleans could
New Orleans, let me see. One of us. Hang on.
There's always a worse quarterback out there.
Hang on.
Unless you're Jordan Love.
The Giants have the 3rd overall pick. Those 2 quarterbacks might be gone. That's a team. The Raiders have nobody. Jacksonville, who knows what they're going to do? The Saints.
Who do they have?
Jets. Who have?
The Saints. They went through all.
Yeah. They don't have anybody.
Nothing. Right.
Yeah.
Jake Hafner or whatever his name is.
I don't think he's played.
The Colts. Yeah. The Seahawks. Who knows what Geno Smith does? There's 4 or 5 teams there.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And if you are a coach or GM and you're trying to figure that out and you are studying Sam Darnold, what a mixed bag of information.
Yeah.
How do you know what to do with it?
Yeah, it's weird, though, because you go back 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whenever that was, and you look at that Seattle tape, you're going, that's a top quarterback. That's a top 10 quarterback. That throw he made on that moving up in the pocket on one leg, that dime he threw to Jefferson, that's a great throw. But to your point, you try to last night, you go, cut the ball loose, buddy. Just throw and he can't. It's exactly like you said. It's Jekyll and Hyde. It's 2 different people.
It's crazy, too, because we're so used to these quarterbacks, at least in those moments, rising to the occasion. And it was the last 2 weeks, we clearly saw Sam Darnold just completely lost his game on the big stage. And it's a solid reminder of just how tough this is, how tough of a sport this really is, and how crazy it is when those people rise to the occasion, because so many will fall.
That's why it's a separator.
Sam said, quote, I felt like there were a lot of sacks today that I was responsible for, where I was just holding on to the football and taking sacks where I could have either dirted it at somebody's feet or simply just thrown it over someone's head.
No, we learned.
So even he knows that.
All he had to do was just drop it on the turf.
Yeah, just let it go.
Yeah,
and then if the other team picks it up, it's an incomplete pass.
Ridiculous.
Changes the whole game. man, when Cashman scored, I'm like, we got this now.
Hell yeah.
All right, there we go. We survived the stumble because we definitely stumbled out of the gate.
Yep.
Right. The Rams just marched on us, and we're like, this is going to be a long game. And they're up 10 rip. And we're like, oh, God.
That's the punch
Cashman
back.
changed everything.
Correct. That's the punch back you needed. And then when it was taken away, they couldn't recover.
I saw the highlight of it, but was not watching the game at the time. Was the explanation given by Aikman or rules official, was it legit and you got it and you're like, oh, shoot.
I think everybody was a little confused because the show before us was talking about it. I think it's like, you know what his intent was, but his intent is almost irrelevant when there's no flicking of the wrist. He just, you can see him open his hand like, I am intentionally trying to let the ball go, right? I'm trying to pass it.
Yep.
But there's no flicking of the wrist. There's no forward motion. It's just, he let the ball go. Not unintentionally, intentionally let the ball go, but he also intentionally is fumbling it, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So I just don't know what you do with that. And then I heard Brady Quinn this morning say, well, the competition committee's got to look at stuff like this. I've never seen a play like that.
Yeah.
Right? A one-off where a guy just lets it float to the ground and then it bounces and it gets returned.
Wasn't Stafford's head halfway?
He wasn't
to
even
the
looking
ground?
up. Yeah, he was staring
so it wasn't
right
like
at the ground.
He saw a target and you sort of put one and one together and go, oh, that's what he was doing.
He's obviously a really good quarterback. My guess is he 100% knew Puka was cutting across and Puka was in that area. So I think he was like, I just got to see if I can get it towards his feet. But he didn't flick his wrist. He just let the ball go.
And it was ruled a fumble on the field. There has to have been a point where one of them goes, man, I don't know if we have enough evidence to overturn this, right? If it's ruled an incomplete pass, then maybe you go, well, there's not enough to over. Like, it's just, he just dropped it. I don't care if you're like, well, no, he was throwing it to Puka. He dropped the ball. It's a fumble. And then the week before, Goff throws it into the back of an offensive lineman. That's an illegal touch. It's a safety. Nah, it's not. It's just, as Zacho brilliantly said last night, it's just a magic 8-ball of them guessing on everything. And it's ridiculous.
Yeah, or again, the Packers opening kickoff.
That's the
fumble.
Packers ball.
That should have been the Packers ball. Some weird game-changing decisions in the last handful of weeks.
I'm trying to focus on the other stuff in addition to the calls against the Vikings because I think it is league-wide. There's
an officiating problem across sports in general. We talk about it all the time with every sport. It's ridiculous. It shouldn't be this much of a talking point across multiple games across multiple sports.
By the way, I'm looking at the full league standings. The 15-2 Detroit Lions will play this weekend. The 15-2 Kansas City Chiefs will play, and the 14-3 Eagles will play. The 14-3 Minnesota Vikings will not. The 10-7 Houston Texans will.
Are they playing next year too?
No, it's over for them. It's their last season. They've quit.
Hey, only 2 teams all year could say that they could beat the Vikes. Just the Lions and the Rams. Nobody else could get us.
It's kind of like a Lincoln Kennedy situation too, because
who?
The whole the Lincoln, his secretary was the
named Kennedy or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Because not only of obviously the Rams and the Lions, the quarterbacks of each team. It's Stafford and Goff and how we have just.
That was a fantastic sports point.
I can't wait to bring that up in trivia in 20 years at some bar on a Thursday night. I'm looking forward to it.
InitialsGameLive.com.
Do that.
8 o'clock hour of the Power Trip Morning Show. The Vikings lost 27-9 to the Los Angeles Rams of Anaheim in Arizona. Their season is over. The Darnold McCarthy debate officially begins, even though it's been going on for about, 4 months. More with Marney Gellner and the rest of the Power Trip after this on The Fan.